Hello and welcome to this week's GG Weekend Watch, kindly sponsored by SBK, with your regular team of Kate Tracey, myself, putting myself first for once, I don't know what's going on, Daryl Carter and Andrew Matt, who's just come back then off of his anniversary lunch. So we appreciate his time even more so than usual, hence why the flowers are in the background. He's trying to do a very good deed there and trying to get out of his lunch. So great to have you with us then, Andrew. We have loads to cover today. We have Ascot, we have Lingfield, we have even a jumps race from Haydock as well. So plenty to go through then today. So we better get cracking in due course. But we're going to do things a little bit differently today. We're doing this in chronological order rather than meeting by meeting order, just to mix it up, see how it feels. Let us know which version you prefer or not anyway in the comments below. But we will begin then with the 145 at Ascot. This is a 0 to 95 handicap for 4-year-olds and over a mile 4. A wide open start to our schedule here with 17 runners. It's 5 to on the field. So an easy opener for you, Andrew. How do you play this race?
Yeah, this is tricky, isn't it? When you look at it at the 4-day stage, you think, crikey, there's a lot of runners. Hopefully that cuts up and it doesn't take quite so much time to go through. Sadly, it hasn't from our perspective, but there are a few on the shortlist. Horses who were having their first run since Gelding have got a very good record in this race over the years. I was drawn to Duke of Verona, who's also cheek pieced for the first time, trained by William Jarvis, and has been in good form anyway on the all-weather of late, winning at Wolverhampton last time. True Courage, who ran a storming race here last year, finishing third, promoted to second when 50 to 1 or 40 to 1, I think it was. I thought there's going to be more to come from him this season. He was well held in the Melrose, but trip was probably a bit too far, and that was probably a bit too classy for him. But I still think he's got improvement to come. And Diamond Bay as well, James Doyle riding at Ascot, and this one's been in good form on the all-weather. I like New Bay Progeny after a recent run on turf, and this one's got conditions. So of the trio, I'm just going to go with Duke of Verona because of that first run since being gelded angle, but it's a tricky one.
It is, isn't it? Like I say, a few names then into the mix, but if you had to nail then your colours to the mast, it would be Duke of Verona, 12 to 1, though still from stall 1. Each way price in a very tricky opener. Daryl, your take on this race?
Yeah, it is very tricky. It's a belting race, though. I was just going to take a little bit of a stab out of HMS President. I think you fancied him last week, didn't you?
I fancied him a lot in a lot of times, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he would improve for the seasonal reappearance, in all honesty, at Musborough behind Enemy. When he was running there, he's a horse that takes a minute to really get going. And sometimes it can make him look a little bit tripless. I don't think coming back from a mile 6 to a mile 4 is necessarily a positive for him. But I do think the bigger field, the stronger pace scenario will definitely suit him. He was just getting going under Nicola Curry, and then he was sort of closed in and he got stopped in his run. Now, he probably wouldn't have finished in the first 3. But I think we would have looked at the performance and said he will probably improve for that. He would probably run on strongly. He did improve for his seasonal return last year when he won at Windsor the second time out. And he's ran 2 blinding races here at Ascot, beaten ahead by Graphite last year in the Shergar Cup under Nicola Curry. And the year prior, he was touched off by Highland Chief when finishing very strongly over a mile 2. A mile and a half, it's probably going to be on the short side for him going forward. But hopefully they go a good clip here and he should be finishing well. Around 12 to 1, I think he'll be my step.
Yeah, definitely then for HMS President, because he did, like I say, I know that I sided with him last time out at Musselburgh, but he definitely, where he finished in the end isn't probably an accurate reflection of how he was going at that point. Like I say, he was meeting the sandwich at that point.
He's probably going to be pulled wide coming into the home straight because he just needs some room to really get going. It honestly, it does. It's like winding up an old bloody whatever, but it takes him a long time to get going. But once he does, he normally finishes off his race quite strongly. So hopefully he'll get the pace to aim at in this.
Yeah, exactly. For the big old boat then, HMS President, then to hopefully get into top gear by the time it actually matters. Right, we're switching meeting then now to the 205 at Lingfield, their second race then on the card. This is a 0 to 80 handicap for 4-year-olds and over 7 furlongs. Plenty of these with recent enough question marks really over their heads. So it's not that much of an easier second race to look at, Daryl. Who wins it for you?
Well, I don't know if I'm completely off the ball here because I've just seen the prices open up with Betfair, etc.
Yeah.
But I really fancy Gratia, and I thought this was going to be a 5 to 2 shot. It's 12 to 1.
Yeah,
I really can't believe the horses 12-1. Finished 4 lengths behind Amber Island at Lingfield 22 days ago, and had Algide and Verrick's Eagle finish in front of her that day. But she got no run whatsoever. She finished on the bridle. She was just cantering away and just couldn't get any gap whatsoever. That was her handicap debut for mark of 80. She's been left on the same mark here for her second starting handicap. She's completely unexposed at 7 furlongs. 7 furlongs is definitely a trip, in my opinion. I'd wrote the run off at Newcastle the time before, but prior to that, she absolutely bolted up at Southall. And she's just open to so much improvement. I think the jockey switch, anyone that follows me will know, I think the jockey switch from Luke Morris to Tom Marquand is a positive. And I think she comes here on an upward curve. And I don't see that with any other horse in the field. And I just can't quite work. I've had to stop backing her because I don't know.
Run out of money.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know. I just don't know if I've got it completely wrong, Andrew. Like, I don't know what I'm missing. I must be missing something for her to be a double figure price in this bloody field, surely.
Yeah, when you thought she was going to go off at 5-2 and she's actually 12-1. Yeah, like I say, it starts to make you question yourself, right? It's too good to be true. That sort of mentality, more so than anything. I mean, Andrew, can you bolster Daryl's confidence, or is there a reason you can see why she is?
Yeah, I mean, ex-Gratia had excuses, didn't she, at Lingfield last time? She was stuck out wide in stall 12. The pace held up in that race. You had to be on the front end. She's come from off the pace. Some of the horses who've were also ridden patiently in that race, who finished out the frame, have come out and won or run well since. Was it Isabella Rossa for James Fanshawe was a winner next time out, I think. So, I mean, draw-wise, it's not a big field, but and the stalls are in the centre, but it's Lingfield on fast ground, straight 7 furlongs. So they're going to be coming towards the stand side. And if that Golden Highway is fully operational and open for business, which it often is, then that's a fair old draw. So, I mean, I was leaning towards Dutch Decoy just because you've got a likely pace angle trained by the Johnson Yard, who's drawn top of the shop in 7 of 7. Is if he gets on that rail and makes the running, then the 8-1 you're available now is going to be half that after a furlong. But it was a tricky race. But yeah, it's one of those ones you just got to play the prices, I think. And I certainly can see where Daryl's heading with his. But I'll go Dutch Decoy, because certainly on breeding, being by Dutch Art, you look at the sire stats on good to firm ground, then this kind of surface is going to bring about improvement.
Yeah, for sure. Then, and as you say, trying to aim for that Golden Highway. If it is, I like that, fully operational then at Lingfield on Saturday. But I guess the further confidence has to be bolstered for Daryl's selection, and the fact that the handicapper has not moved her off of that mark. So surely he must have thought that wasn't a true running, or she was unlucky in that in itself anyway. But yeah,
because I'm saying the other thing is you look at, you've got a stall 1 horse with Jamie Spencer, so you know immediately how that's going to be ridden.
Yeah.
Whose 2 wins have come on left-handed tracks, going over a straight 7 furlongs with no cover on the outside. You're thinking, that's the hard luck story already written, I think. And that one's 4-1. So yeah. Strange way they priced it up, I think, as Daryl says.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know how the market was going to shape around that race, and I sort of thought about a few of the question marks, but yeah, didn't quite expect that. So take it for all you can. Take advantage when the bookies may have actually got it wrong, and side with the lads' 2 selections there. We move back now to Ascot. Then our first listed action of the day comes in the 220 at Ascot. We have the listed Buckhound Stakes for 4-year-olds and over a mile 4, where we get to see Al-Azi back out again. Will he show the true form then of early last season, or that tail off of form then towards the end of the season? Was that probably something then to be concerned about? Whichever way you see Al-Azi, he is the current market leader with Third Realm and Stole vying for second favoritism, but the market would certainly have it between the first 3, Andrew. Are you siding with any of those 3?
2 of them, I guess, out of a short list of 4. Very interesting stats with this race. Those who've had a recent outing have got a pretty poor record, especially recently. The last 6 winners had all had 150 days or longer off the track, and all were beaten last time out. So that gives you a short list of Al-Azi, Mandub, Third Realm, and Universal Order. I mean, Al-Azi, he could win this doing handsprings. I don't want to pay 7-4 to find out. Mandub was more interesting, I thought. First run since a wind operation, loves fast ground. Excuses last time. Third Realm also qualifies. Roger Varian Yard going well. But the one I was interested in was Universal Order. This horse has got a fantastic record when fresh. David Simcock's in decent form. He won on his racecourse debut. Since then, he's had 4 runs when he's been off the track for 6 weeks or longer. Won 3 of them, and the latest one, he was 4th at Chester. But that was before this 600-odd day absence, so there was clearly a physical problem that day. So basically, when he's not had not picked up an injury during the race, he's never been beaten when he's fresh. And it's 600 days, but connections have persevered, obviously for a reason. He's got the ideal running style for Ascot, i.e. coming from off the pace. So a double-figure price, James Dore booked, universal order for me.
Damn, I really, really like that now that you've made the case for him. That is super likeable with the fresh angle. Don't be concerned about the layoff then for universal order if he's back in his usual order, which you'd hope by the time he's back on a race course racing on this quicker ground, he should be fine. Oh, that's annoying. Daryl, your take on this race, please.
Yeah, 600 days is a long time, though, isn't it?
Oh, very, very long time.
It's longer than he's had off previously. I did see this race very similar to Andrew, but we should just mention that Al-Azi is actually entered at Chester on Friday. So he's been confirmed for that. So whether or not they're going to run here, I don't know. If he doesn't run here...
No, he's a non-runner, I think, Daryl.
Is he a non-runner, is he?
According to the Racing Post website, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. It'll be interesting and see if see what happens with jockey bookings. I still kind of want to take him on a little bit. He's a bit of a bridle merchant, isn't he? I remember last season we discussed him and couldn't understand why they gelded him. Obviously, something was not right there. But since he's had the chop, he's not been the same horse, has he? So I think you've got to take him on at the top of the market, albeit he's very talented on his day. I cannot believe Stowell was 11-4. Like, what has this horse done? He's done nothing. He's achieved absolutely nothing. He was well positioned in the slowly run race by Max Vega at Newbury last time, in which winning that wouldn't be good enough to win this anyway. And he's been beaten third. I just don't understand what this horse has done. It's just, I think a lot of people with this horse fall into a false sense of security with Frankie Dettori's finishing effort. Yeah, thinking that the horse has got loads left and they're not being hard on him. I don't think he's had anything left on any occasion when he's run. So I think his mark of 105 up in this sort of listed company is in open company now is Christ. I couldn't have him at 11-4, not a chance. Universal Order, I think, is a horse to definitely keep on side going forward. I think he's very talented. Mandub was the other one that I looked at. I thought 12-1 was a little bit big for him given his unexposed profile, but I really honestly thought this would go to third realm. I think he's by far the best horse in the race should Al-Azi underperform or perform as he has done the last twice. He won fresh last year at Nottingham, beating Remedium. Obviously, that form needed improving on significantly. He went to Lingfield on this day last year, won the Derby trial being Adia. And then he bombed out. He didn't bomb out. He finished 5th in the Derby. I mean, it's not bombing out, is it? He ran really well there. At Goodwood, I thought that form behind Ottoman Empire was very, very strong. He finished that race off really powerfully. And I thought his latest run at in Paris behind the By Honour with the likes of Meg Allen in behind Cadillac, I thought that was the strongest form in this race by a country mile. So I can't believe he's a 7-2 shot. Stowell's 11-4 shot. That's madness, in my opinion. I think Roger Varian can ready one first time out, so third round for me.
Yeah, and I am of complete agreement. That's why I was fuming then over the universal order argument. Sounds like right. I'm definitely.
Hang on. You can't change your mind again.
You can't change. You stuck with him.
No, I'm not. No, that's why. No. Do not twist my words. We'll go back and watch this. VAR, please, for this one. No, I'm saying damn because I haven't sided with universal order, and I'm fuming that I missed that fresh angle with him. So I'm siding with the fresh angle from third realm. So shut the pair of your faces. I'm siding with third realm.
We'll let her go first next time.
Let's back both and do the reverse exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. We're backing both then. Yeah. No, third realm then for me as well. I'm going first next time. Screw the pair of you. In case Al-Azi doesn't turn up then in the form that he did then at the start of last season, as you say, since he's had the snip, it just has not gone well then for him. He was always a bit of a boisterous character than before, wasn't he? And then they sort of wanted to go to him. And I was kind of thinking, well, I know he's a bit of a hothead beforehand, but be interested to see how it affects him.
Can you stop talking about the snip, please? I'm booked in for mind. And...
Oh, yeah.
Although it'll be interesting to see whether I'm less boisterous afterwards.
Oh,
was that your anniversary gift? Was it, Andrew?
Yeah, that's right. I got a flower. She got me the cruelest of all cuts.
Oh, and you got flowers for her then. Nicely done. I can see that this has worked out massively in your favour. Yeah, we'll see if you have the decline of Aussie then going down the line. But no, also taking him on, no one to get then the well, maybe a few people should get the snip, but Aussie probably then regret that. Yeah, and I'm taking him on with third round on that fresh angle with the form perspective them as well. Now we are splitting back to Lingfield next up. This is for the 240 for the listed Derby trial stakes for 3-year-olds over a mile 3.5 furlongs. An interesting guide to the Derby itself in recent years. Third round, who we've just been talking about, won this race last year before finishing 5th in the Derby. English King, dare we say his name, won this and then disappointed in the Derby to finish 5th, but who knows? I mean, he's in Australia now, isn't he? Anthony Van Dyke did the double in 2019. Two powerhouses have the front two then in the market here, but it's Walker Stars currently heads for betting as the 8-11 favourite. So, Daryl, your take on the Derby trial, please.
Yeah, I think Walker the Stars is going to take a world of beating. I really like him. We fancy him for the Derby back in before this race. If you just go back and watch his runs, you go back and watch his run at Newmarket. He just, like his debut run, it just looked like completely awkward and green and didn't have a clue what he was doing. And you could just tell that they were just teaching him how to ride. So they sort of sat him in midfield and just sort of was Adam Kerber gave him a bump ride and not hard on him at all, just really teaching him. And then he went to Nottingham in November, and Tom Marquand went from the front of him. And again, it was like they were teaching him how to ride again. He was cocking his head to the right. All the way down the home straight, not knowing what to do. It was just all hands and heels, and it was just the further he went, the better and better he was going. Once he started putting his head straight and putting his head down, he just started to really learn how to race. It was all hands and heels, and he wasn't going away in really, really nice style. I thought he looked really fat that day as well. So I kind of was thinking he's like a stuffy horse that needs, a good bit of work into him.
Yeah.
And he returned at Newbury. He just looked like he had filled into his frame completely. And he just was so much more professional. Came from the rear of the field. So he's done it all. He pulled wide. He quickened up smartly. He stayed very strongly. He's just going to improve a ton every time he runs. Honestly, it's so interesting to watch it run. But if you haven't got time, like me, you ain't got a life. Go back and watch it run by run, one after the other, and you'll just see the progression in every single run. He just looks. It's annoying because it's one of those horses that you'd like to see at 20-25 to 1 for the Derby, and you've seen that progression. You think, get on him. But it's true, he's already on him, aren't they? He's 10 to 1, third favourite, fourth favourite for the Derby. I can see him shortening on the back of this, I think. I don't think Natural World's got a chance in hell, in all honesty. I think United Nations will be the one to give him most to think about. Lionel will probably follow him home in third. But I'm hoping Walker Stars can go and do the business, because I think he's quite an exciting horse.
Yeah, and hopefully then to do the Derby trial, Derby double then as well. Because the Derby's, I know it's still early in the season, but it's pretty wide open. It needs a horse to really properly stamp their authority then on it. And Walker Stars may well be that then therefore. So Daryl, very keen on him and backing him for the Derby as well. Andrew, can you see an angle into this race?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because Walker Stars is the one with all the promises Daryl's expertly outlined. And he was still green when he won last time out at Newbury. He hung to his left that day. And he's probably done well to win, given that they went steady and he's come from off the pace in a 3-runner affair. The second half-wit and the third, was it Berkshire Shadow, have been chinned since, which doesn't exactly sort of do your confidence any good. And after that, Charlie Appleby said he'll improve again with more racing. He'll go for the Dante if the ground's sensible, meaning he's not going to want it too quick. And, his first 2 runs came on soft ground. That Newbury race, it was on the slow side of good. You're talking April, early season, so there was plenty of juice in the ground. You just worry. Lingfield, undulating track, good to firm. Adyar was beaten in this race last year when 6-5 favourite. We've been asked to take 6-5 on. It is a toss of a coin job pretty much, because you're thinking, he could win this doing handsprings and win the Derby, or he could still run green, hang, hate the undulations, and get done by something like United Nations. So would it surprise me if he won? No. Do I want to back him at 5-6? Not particularly. I'll put up United Nations as a sort of perhaps a little bit more value alternative, given the trainer's record in the race, given the fact that you can argue he was in need of the run, went fourth at Epsom last time out. He's got form with Caribus last year, the 2,000 guineas winner. So yeah, I wasn't wanting to have a bet in the race. Fascinating stuff. I'll go United Nations over the favourite.
Oh, okay then. So price dictating, the hope that United Nations comes forward then for that reappearance start for Aidan O'Brien, who is also cleaning up sort of everything else. But a real interesting battle then between the two powerhouses in that race. So that covers that race at Lingfield. So we will move on then to Haydock, where we have our sole jumps race at 3 o'clock. This is sort of a random one really to put in, isn't it? But it is the Swinton handicap hurdle, grade 3 for 4-year-olds and over a mile, 7.5 furlongs. Always fiercely competitive. 17 declared runners this time around. Likely to go off lickety split here. So Andrew, actually no, I'm going first this time. I'm taking on West Cork, yeah, and I'm going with Anna Bunina because I can't have her screwing me over again this time around. She has been a menace for me this year. I've sided with her time and time again. I should have listened to the pair of you. Spring horse. Even with air last time out, and I thought I had the race sewn up with one more for the road. And here comes Anna Bunina, comes good in the spring. Hopefully she'll be able to do exactly that again. Perfect age there, being a 6-year-old. Still bang there in the ratings, isn't she? Off 135. Mark McDonough taking his £5 claim off of her back as well. She'd be ridden held up, where contrary to Haydock on relatively decent ground in the Swinton, because of the pace that they go, I want a horse that's ridden further back, which she will be. And of course she comes here still as a fresher horse than most of her rivals, with just those 4 starts then since the turn of the year. So months since that last run. Anna Bunina will do for me. Andrew, you may go.
Thank you. Well said. Yeah, Anna Bunina's on my shortlist. As you know, I tipped her for the Scottish Champion Hurdle.
Very well done.
I wasn't keen on West Cork that day because every horse Dan Skelton was running the county hurdle has got chinned next time out. That one actually ran better than I thought, and because he's never won outside of the November, December, January midwinter period, I thought he might have had enough for this season. So 5-week break. You could see it, but 11-2, not for me. So yeah, Anna Bunina was one I was interested in. Another one was Milkwood, who did disappoint in the Scottish Champion Hurdle, having won it the year before, but is another one who generally runs well at this time of year. 8 runs from April to October, 4 wins. If there are excuses for that air defeat, wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back to some sort of form. And the other one was Herbier. I put up as a big win bet at Cheltenham last time out, finished second by a neck. And when you're thinking amateur ridden, 7 runners, will they go quick enough for him? Possibly not. He's a horse who's got an amazing record once he's had 2 runs each season. Just back him on his 3rd or subsequent start. It's 5 wins, 4 in the place effort from 10 starts. The defeat was a 9th place, but that was at the Cheltenham Festival when 66-1, and he raced in the swamp on the inside. So yeah, big field, strong pace, jockey upgrade. Craig Nicol taking over now. I thought Herbier, I was about to say 12-1. That was about 5 minutes ago. Now he's 10-1. So
yeah.
Herbier for me over Anna Bunina and Milkwood.
I'm not going to say it, but that was one of the dangers for me. With Herbier, that's from Anna Bunina for Andrew. So we're in similar enough agreement. Anyway, Daryl, your take, please.
Well, just got Mr. McCann running
Give us if you have a horse, you have to give us a live commentary.
That's
the new rule.
He's going to fade, isn't he?
He's 70 on Betfair, Daryl.
Yeah, he's been picked up in the home straight. Just same as the bloody Cresters coming home strong. Sonny Liston, Star of India. That is a terrible race, I tell you. That Star of India is awful, honestly.
Yeah.
Terrible. Right, where are we? Swinton. Yeah, I didn't have a massively strong opinion on this, in all honesty. I can see the angle with Anna Bunina, but I think it's sort of like, I think the market's not going to miss her, if you know what I mean. John McConnell played a good card here, put Mark McDonough on, claiming that £5 off. She was raced for that air win. And I didn't really like a lot of these. I thought Ngolo would probably have a chance if they went hard enough, but I can't trust him. I came down on Sebastopol. He was in really good heart. It goes well at this time of year also. And he's been just sort of lifted the level of his form the last few times when fitted with a visor. He's £9 lower over hurdles here. Yeah, I thought he was in good heart. I thought he would go well and give you a run for your money. He stays a little bit further than this. So if they do go too hard, lickety split, then he will be staying on strongly. So it's not a strong opinion. In all honesty, I've tried to move the thinking over to the flat now, but that doesn't seem to be going well with Mr. McCann.
Right, we'll leave Daryl back to his sulk then after that race. But potentially then for Sebastopol back over hurdles, because he's a fame and glory, and I don't think he likes fences. So that's really interesting off of a lower mark. And just a little mention then for Ungolo as well. He'll appreciate the better ground than the son of Galileo himself. So that is then the jump action done. We flit back now to Lingfield, where we go for the 3:15. It's the turn of the fillies now in the listed Oaks trial for 3-year-olds over a mile, 3.5 furlongs, so the same course and distance as the Derby trial, where this time it's Aidan O'Brien who has the market leader with Emily Dickinson. So Daryl, if you're ready, back to you, please. Who wins the Oaks trial?
Yeah, this is one of the few that's actually priced up correctly, and I can only see her getting shorter, in all honesty, and that's Emily Dickinson. The form behind above the curve at Leopardstown on seasonal reappearance is very, very strong. Thoughts of June was obviously in behind there as well. But she caught the eye massively, staying on from the rear of the field that day. She went over to Nace next time out, and she needed every single yard of the 10 furlong trip there to get home. She's quite a strange horse because she's got quite a short, sharp stride, but she just looks like she's crying out for a 1.5 miles. I think she is miles clear in terms of the bare form of anything in this race. So I think she'll go off at even money, something like that, and bolt up, in all honesty. Belt buckle's probably the biggest danger for John Gosden. Nice debut performance, but still needs to improve significantly on that form. The neck runner-up was well beat next time out. But Emily Dickinson, Christ, miles clear of everything else in this race.
I like that then. Bullish. We were waiting for a bit of bullishness from Daryl, and here we have it then in the Oaks trial, Andrew. So do you agree, or are you
bullishness? I thought you said something else. Plenty more of that earlier on.
Not just yet. Yeah, right, your take.
This is a good one. Yeah, belt buckle. I was taken by her debut performance at Wolverhampton because it was hard to come from off the pace. And she's well back. She's drawn wide, and she's come from the back. I wouldn't sort of worry too much about the performances since the second, third, and fourth, because those three were up with the pace, and it was those who have ridden more patiently who've been coming out and running quite well since. But only having had that one run, never having raced on turf before, I think 7-2 is probably based on John Gosden's the Gosden Yards record in the race. 3 winners from the last 5 runners rather than what she's achieved. So wouldn't surprise me if she did run really well here, but I don't want to back at that price. The one I'm going with is Mystic Wells for George Bowie. George Bowie's got an incredible record when he brings a last time out winner back to the track quickly. In non-handicaps, when they won last time, coming back within 3 weeks of that win, 10 winners from 25 runners. Of course, the 1,000 guineas winner came into that category as well. If you back them all, you'd be making a nice few quid. It's £46.87 to a £1 level stake. So once his horses are fit and he runs them again quickly, something to contend with. So I know she only won at Brighton. I know it was only by a head, but she showed a reasonable attitude, a good attitude, didn't she? Second run in a hood. She's going to like this track, or certainly have no problems with it, given the undulations and the fast ground. So, yeah, Mystic Wells for me. We've got 3 places, haven't we? I'll just back her each way against the Jolly.
Yeah, like I say, each way then 8-1 from what I can see there. She's been backed in then Mystic Wells with the 3 places on offer to take on Emily Dickinson. So interesting takes then on the Oaks trial for the lads. So now we flipped back again to Ascot. We're going, so I hope you're not getting dizzy just yet with all of this vying between different meetings anyway. But we now have a fillies handicap at 3:30 at Ascot for 3-year-olds and over 1 mile. Pretty open contest, Andrew. Your selection, please.
Yeah, tricky one, isn't it? I mean, again, Ascot. You're looking at James Doyle, straight course, hold up. James Fanshawe as well. We know how his horses have ridden generally from off the pace. So I was drawn to Serenading, who has had a little break since finishing second on the all-weather at Newcastle last time, beaten 11-8 on that day, but it was 3 runners. It was a messy affair. And bigger field, hopefully a stronger pace. I thought that she might run a race here. When she won at Wolverhampton again, she's come from off the pace. She's won at Newcastle in a field of 12 over a straight mile on the all-weather. She's yet to win on turf from 9 attempts, but she's run plenty of good races in defeat. And I just thought each way I'd throw a couple of quid at her. If you look at this race, you think, oh, 4-year-olds have won 9 of the last 10 runnings, and 3-year-olds have only had 1 winner, but not that many 3-year-olds have taken part. Only 18 in the last 10 years. The expected number of winners was only 1.4, so it's not a massively significant stat. So if you fancy a 3-year-old and do, they're actually running this year. I'll forget that. There's none running.
I was just thinking. I was just looking for any. I
hadn't checked the final decks, but so don't get too carried away about the age of the winners being 4-year-olds.
Yeah. So don't get too carried away then with that. So Serenading, a 6-year-old mare then in this race each way then for Andrew in what is a pretty open race, Daryl.
Yeah, I must be miles off again because I think these prices are crazy. Like, Serenading was one of the ones I came down. I came down on 2, and they both the 2 outsiders of the field. Serenading, she's got a fantastic record on straight tracks, and her form figures are 2, 4, 1, 7, 6, 2, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 6. She's just. Can
you repeat that, Daryl?
Yeah, I can. But the reason I struggled there was because I've got little notes by every one. Like 7 came at Ascot last year in September when she was beaten 4 lengths by Don't Tell Claire, but she finished on the bridle because she got no run at all. And like Don't Tell Claire is like 7-1 and she's like 10-1. I don't understand that. I'd easily forgive her the last one, as Andrew said at Newcastle last time. 3-runner race didn't suit her at all. She had to be pulled out in the middle of the track with about 3 furlongs left to run, and she's just in front too long. Well, not in front too long, but had too much of a. She had no cover for not long enough, and she was just out sprinted by Rising Star. That's not the way she races. That's not what she wants at all. So I'd completely forgive that performance. Again, I would forgive Wolverhampton, Lingfield, Wolverhampton. And you're back to Newcastle where she's beaten 11th by Bring On Boris. She's a horse that definitely wants a straight track. Don't back her around a bend. But she's got to have a chance. She's 10-1 shot. She's off a fair mark of 88. I'm going to probably back her. The other one I was going to back is Soft Whisper as well, because I thought they would slightly underestimate her, but I thought she would be towards the top of the market. But she's the rank outsider of the entire field, and I really don't understand that. Her last run at Maidan, she was just far too free, and she just finished off basically being allowed to just ride out her race. And sorry, not her last run, a penultimate start behind Creative Flair. Maidan, the first one at Maidan, behind Pavency Boy. But she was just able to just ride out her race because she was far too free in the early stages. Whereas Stunning Beauty was in that race and she was hell for leather, going for everything. And Soft Whisper was just cantering by the side of her. Now, I know that she's like £10 or whatever worse off her, £6 worse off her, but that's not enough to make a difference. Soft Whisper, she came back from Maidan last year in September and won a listed race at Newmarket. She's rated up to 108. She's off 102 here, but this is not a strong field. This is not a strong handicapping field at all. If she's anywhere close to that performance she put in at Newmarket when returning from Maidan last year, she'll take some beating. I'll tell you that now. She's 10-1, 2 10-1 outsiders.
Yeah, like you say, for 2 outsiders then of the field, Soft Whisper and Serenading. Then, the top weight Soft Whisper, if she's back to her best, and then Serenading as well with that recent run of form. So both of the lads agreeing on Serenading, but also then Soft Whisper for Daryl on the back of those runs in Maidan coming back here, which is a very interesting angle indeed. Now we head back to Lingfield again then. This is the 350. We have the Group 3 Chartwell Filly Stakes for 3-year-olds and over 7 furlongs, where She Do heads the betting at 11-4. But Daryl, who do you side with?
This is quite difficult. She Do at the top of the market. I thought she was going to improve for the run, and I'm not 100% convinced that she's going to see this 7 furlongs out on seasonal return. I think she does want 7 furlongs in the future, but whether or not she wants it first time out after a 200-day break, I'm not entirely sure. Symphony Perfect, is the highest rated horse in the field. She's getting £12 from her elders. She's very hard to ignore, but you really do have to question whether she wants 7 furlongs or not. Now, she returned at Newbury behind Wild Beauty, and she didn't quite see it out there. You could have put that down to the fact that she was returning off the back of an absence, and she may have just needed it fitness-wise. But then at Chelmsford, when she was beaten by Tippy Toes in a listed race, I on her last start. She did chase home the winner, but if you watch those in behind in comparison to her and the winner, she wasn't really going away from them. In fact, if anything, they were closing on her. That was over 6. So I just slight question mark about Symphony Perfect, whether she really wants 7. And it's annoying because she shaped so many times last year. Look, she wants 7. She just might want a well-run 6. I thought I'd just come down on WREN'S Breath as just a tentative selection for Henry de Bromhead. This horse has got one eye. This horse has got one eye. That, I tell you what, that probably sums up my tipping at the moment. I'm tipping a horse with one eye. But she was the form of a nice listed win over More Beautiful was very, very, very strong over 6. She shaped like a horse that would just get further as well. She just came fast and late that day, and Navan debut performance has worked out extremely well. So she could really appreciate this step. Or this, not this step back up 6. She ran at over 7 at Doncaster, but I'd completely ignore that run. She darted out to the right out of the gates, and then she just hung completely right. Now I don't know which side her eye is, if it's left or right, but
I'm guessing she hasn't got a left eye if she keeps going to the right.
I'm guessing it's
Was it Material World over jumps who had Susan
who used to jump off?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
but so that could be a concern for her, but. Look, it's a tentative selection in a race, which looks a bit like a bit of a mess to me, really. It's hard to work out.
How do you know this stuff, though? How do you know she only has one eye?
Because I listen. No, because
when did you listen? Back in September, and you happened to
she went on Daryl's stag night, and that's how she lost an eye.
I think when she won,
night.
I think when she won, they did an interview after the race. Little things like that just stick in my mind. Look, I think there was an interview after the race, and they were saying that she's got one eye and she's got this whatever. I don't know what it's called, but she's got something wrong with it. It's just something that little things like that just stick in my mind all the time. And that was over God knows how long ago, but
that was 10 months ago. How the hell do you
remember
that?
Don't forget, Kate, I do nothing all day but look at racing and watch racing. That's all I do.
Oh, well, random fact of the day, the WREN'S Breath was one eye and may hang right then around Lingfield. But either way, it's a tentative selection then for Daryl in this 350 at Lingfield. Andrew, your take? Any other sort of
tricky
possibilities?
Yeah, I mean, this race traditionally you want to be drawn high, and there was a few years ago there was a short price one I think was drawn store 1 or 2, and the market just didn't take the draw into account. So by the time of this race, we've got we'll have a good idea of if there's any draw bias, and to follow that into this race. I think it was Mix and Mingle's year when that one won for Chris Wall from stall 11. Yeah, it was Quemar, the Rouget horse with Frankie on, was even money from stall 3, but just didn't have a prayer from that draw. So hopefully there's a bias like that, and even with 8 runners, it could come into play. I mean, the horses in the 3 highest stalls are generally hold-up horses: WREN'S Breath, Rosemary in Time, Thunder Beauty, maybe Pearl Glory from stall 5, who tends to be ridden prominently, could get that rail if indeed that rail is the place to be. She is a course winner over 6 furlongs. She stepped up to 7 on the final start last year in Group 3 company at Newbury. That was the Oh-So Sharp Stakes. She only finished 6th, but she was staying on at the business end. And hopefully they'll ride her a bit more forcefully, thinking she stays or will stay this trip this year. And maybe she can get that rail for the Kevin Philippard 4-yard.
Yeah, so Pearl Glory then for the Kevin Philippard 4-yard. Nice price anyway at 7-1 then for Andrew in the 350 at Lingfield. Now, our final scheduled race, we're going back to Ascot again here, so do stick with us then for this final flip-flop where we will be heading to the 405. This is a Victoria Cup, a heritage handicap for 4-year-olds and over 7 furlongs. Now, this really is a nightmare to find a winner with 28 runners. Andrew, we know it's a problem you'll have no problem in solving for us, though, please.
Yeah,
he's fuming. He's fuming.
I'm spitting feathers. Isla Kai was the one I thought was nailed on for this race, and then he isn't running. So it's been back to the drawing board. Again, draw-wise, we're going to have more clues by the time of this race. And last year it was a high draw benefit that was on soft ground. you go back to the last fast ground race, you want it to be drawn low, but then the fast ground race the year before, you want it to be drawn high. So you know how frustrating it is at Ascot. It can swing from one side to another, particularly depending on what they do watering wise. I mean, one of the theories was that because of the shadow of the grandstand, when they water the track, because the sun doesn't get to the stand side until later in the morning, it dries out quicker on the far side. So,
I heard that, yeah.
That's how you get sort of like the buyers swinging from one day to the next. So it's a bit of a minefield. I mean, Aratus, one that got, when I really fancied against Daryl's tip, Happy Power on his reappearance at Leicester. Adam Kirby must be the only person in the world who doesn't know that you don't want to be on the stand side at Leicester on the straight track. I mean, he's got been a long way, but he's gone straight to the near side. The other two are raced down the centre separate from him. So he's raced on his own. He's pulled like an absolute train. I think with that run behind him, his second run now since being gelded, in a big field off a strong pace, he's going to be a different proposition. He was 16s into 12s when the betting first opened. I think you can still get 14s in a place. But yeah, I'm just gutted because I thought this was simple. Oh, Isla Kai's running that way. I mean, Isla Kai has had 5 runs outside of his seasonal debuts, 4 wins, and a close second. Behind a York course expert, beaten half a length in a field of 18. I'm telling you what I've got prepared for this horse, even though he's not running. So just
if it makes
so
you feel better, if it makes you feel better, then by all means.
Exactly. So I'll get it off my chest. But yeah, Aratus stall 9. I've not sort of checked exactly where the pace is. I'd want to see a couple of earlier races, but it'll do for me at this stage.
Yeah, 14-1 then Aratus on the back of that third in that horrible race at Leicester. I just hated that race so much. Within it, Daryl, any further or any other non-runners in this race that you can talk about?
No. I've got a fly in here. Sorry, I've got a fly flying around me. And I'm
looking over your shoulder. Is he okay?
I'm trying to bat it away. I've got
no flies on me's running the next race, Daryl. It's no.
There you go.
I've got. Look, you can make cases for loads in here. Like Fresh is good. I think he's going to appreciate the step up and trip on good ground. He's a horse that's been knocking on the door. It'd be no surprise if he wins it. Dark Shift at the top of the market. There's lots and lots of horses to like. So I've taken a stab at 2 big prices. Orbaan is 50-1.
Ooh,
He's the first one I'm going to have a stab at. This was a classy horse back in the day. He came over to the Goodwood Sussex Stakes, ran in the race won by Lightning Spear when he was with Andre Farr. But he's had 20 runs in Britain, 16 over the mile. All of his career wins have come over a mile, right? But I'm not really convinced he stays a mile. And I know that's going to sound crazy, but 2 of them came in France, where they tend to go very slow and then quicken up. One of them came. One of them came when they just went hell for leather at Doncaster. Is it? Hell for leather at Doncaster, and he clung on at the finish. I just think this is a horse that's been crying out to go back down to 7 furlongs. Excuse me, sorry. I've lost my trail of thought now. He's had what's he had? 4 runs over 7 furlongs. Yeah, 4 runs over 7 furlongs. 2 have come on the all-weather, 2 on soft ground, right? But the 2 that came on soft ground at Doncaster, it just didn't go hard enough for him, and he finished very, very strongly. This is a horse that's been crying out for a really strongly run 7 furlong trip. Now, he's had strongly run big field mile handicaps previously, and he's not been disgraced at all. He was beaten 3 lengths by Montatham, Sebastopol, and top ranked off 104. He was a no-show in a Balmoral, but then he was beaten 4 lengths, and he was a massive eye catcher in the Lincoln in 2021. He had no clear run at Goodwood in a big field off a mark of 101. Finished on the bridle that day. He was beaten 4 lengths at York off 100, travelled all over the field before his effort petered out. And he was well beat at the same venue next time over 7 furlongs, but that was from stall 18, so he had no chance there. I think he's got big excuses for his runs over 7 furlongs. He's caught the eye the last twice. At Redcar, he did really well from a high draw, as me and Andrew flagged up about the high draw for Boardman, who won next time out after being in stall 16. He was in stall 14. He got himself trapped against the rail, had nowhere to go, had no run, and just finished out his race on the hands and heels. He went to Newbury next time behind Modern News, and this is a race that I flagged up last week and said this is one of the strongest handicap and piece of form that's going to be throughout the season. And he was going very, very smoothly throughout the contest, weaved in and out, got no clear run. And then once he got his clear run, his effort again just petered out over the mile. I think he has been crying out for 7 furlongs. He's dropped down to a mark of 89. And considering he was going very close on marks of 102 last season, over a mile, which I don't think suits him, I think he's got to have a big chance off this bottom weight or close to bottom weight today. And he's run well here at Ascot before. He stuck on really strongly behind a horse called Tempest when trying to give him tons of weight when rated 103, when he was held up in a very slowly run handicap and he was beaten 3 lengths. So we know he handles the course. I think the trip's definitely going to suit him. He's a 50-1 shot that's been better than his bare result the last twice. And I think there's definitely a big pot in him. So Orbaan's going to be the first one.
Ooh, 50-1 then for Orbaan. Goodness me.
Yeah.
You know who else ran in that Newbury race? Isla Kai.
Yeah.
Last time out. But you say the first one. First one. What's the other?
Yeah, the other one is Darkness. Two David O'Mara horses. I should just mention as well, Orbaan's drawn okay in 15 as well, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Darkness is the other one. He's a horse that looks like he wants to go up in trip, right? So he's a horse that looks like he's been staying on strongly and wants to go over a mile or 2 or something like that, but he doesn't. Again, he comes from France where he's got some really strong 7 furlong form, and he just didn't quite see out the mile in France, and that's when they go steady and then sprint. Albeit that did come on soft ground. They tried him over mile 2, but it just didn't work. This is again a horse that's given all the right signs to say that he wants to go up and trip, when really I think he wants to come back and trip and have a really strong pace to aim at. He stuck on really well behind XL Power at Haydock, subsequent winner last time, and fitted with a visor for the first time. They retained the visor today. He's drawn high in 22, and they're going to go lickety split here, I think. So I think he's going to be sticking on very, very strongly. It caught the eye, didn't he, at Doncaster on his first run for David O'Mara. I just think he's taken a few runs just to acclimatise to the way we race over here. Now could be the time to catch him. He's around 25-1. So they're going to, in a race where you could literally back anything, I'm going to take 2 stabs at 2 big prices.
Yep, and another horse that let me down. So thanks for bringing that up again, Daryl. Darkness in the Lincoln. Rubbish, but yeah, he like to say hopefully then acclimatizing then himself. So a couple of big plays then for Daryl in the final race, final scheduled race anyway. So Daryl, back to you for anything from anywhere else.
Oh, let me get my notepad out. Yeah, Ascot 440 Tregony. This horse is a winner in waiting. Tregony. Aldari, I don't know what price Aldari is going to be in the 335. Grand Scheme is dropped in grade at Nottingham in the 245. That horse is going to win. Aussie Banker in the 355 at Nottingham. This horse ran an excellent overall time figure last time out, and actually matched this Oaks Fancy Nashwari, his final furlong time. He's gone up £8, but he should be better than the mark of 76. So them.
Cool, good, very well done then. Andrew, yourself?
No, nothing for me. I know you've got to shoot, Kate, and we started this late, so you can accommodate me, which I appreciate. Thank you again.
Not at all, not at all.
Yeah, I don't want to go down the Rory route like Daryl, but
I'll tell you what,
there'll be loads more in the columns.
I can't believe none of you have congratulated me on my win.
I was going to do that halfway through. Literally, it suddenly occurred to me halfway through. I was going to use it as my sign-off, so don't underestimate me, Daryl. But no, very well done, though, to Daryl on winning the best free tipster on, I can't remember the platform, but very well done to Daryl, though, then for that. It literally only occurred to me halfway through, but it cannot be omitted, and it was going to be my sign-off. So
I second that. Well done. There has been a steward's inquiry and a subsequent Donald Trump-style recount, because somebody was found in a hoodie in an internet cafe near Portsmouth, just voting for Daryl all night. That's why he's looking a bit bleary-eyed.
That's amazing. Yeah, we do not like to comment on the identity of said person, but we have our suspicions. Right, naps. Gonna quickly do naps then. Andrew, nap.
I'll go Aratus in the Victoria Cup.
Ooh, nicely done. Daryl, nap.
Well, I'll go Orbaan in the Victoria Cup.
Oh, okay then, and I'll go Anna Bunina then in the 3 o'clock 6 down the National Hunt theme then for the Swinton at Haydock at 3 o'clock then. So that is everything from the 3 of us then for this week. Lots to get through, so hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let us know how you fancied this scheduling in comparison to our usual meeting by meeting anyway in the comments below. Thanks so much again for joining us. Thanks to the lads for their hard work. Thank you to SBK, and we'll speak to you again next week.